Recently, a satellite has been launched. You would be aware of it.
Yes.
What was it? What was the name of the satellite? And what was the purpose of this? And how it is going to augment the existing system?
What attracts you to the IFS?
The most developed country in semiconductor fabrication.
May I come in, sir?
Aye, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
And first of all, congratulations to you
Thank you, sir.
having reached this stage.
Thank you, sir.
Cleared preliminary, mains. And now you are sitting before us for mock interview. Just be comfortable.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा पीछे कमर लगा लो
Yes, sir.
and just feel comfortable. This is your which chance?
Sir, this is my fourth attempt.
Fourth attempt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And personality test wise,
Sir, this is my first interview.
first interview. Good. Harshit Verma, first interview. Good. General sir.
Okay, Harshit. What is the meaning of word Harshit?
Harshit basically means someone who is joyous and cheerful. Harsh, the Hindi word Harsh represents someone joyful and cheerfulness.
Okay. What are your hobbies?
Sir, my hobbies are mainly quizzing and I like working out, especially running.
Running.
Yes, sir.
How often do you run? How many times in a week?
Sir, I mostly it's 5 days in a week. Mostly I do gymming. Within that cardio, I do treadmill. Sometimes I go for outdoor runs, like it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes outdoor runs.
Okay. Recently, a satellite has been launched.
Yes, sir.
You would be aware of it.
Yes.
What was it? What was the name of the satellite? And what was the purpose of this? And how it is going to augment the existing system?
Sir, it was an INSAT satellite. It was launched on a GSAT rocket. It was nicknamed as Naughty Boy. Sir, it's mainly a Earth observation satellite. It will enable us to monitor the various weather parameters, meteorological parameters, and that way it will enhance our existing observations which are there, Earth observation related metrics which is there.
And also the disaster related?
Yes, a disaster related
Warnings?
like
What kind of warnings?
warnings related to tsunamis, cyclones, these kind of warnings, so that people can be more evacuated and various mitigation measures and adaptation measures can be taken before the event. So it will enable us to do that.
Okay. Now let's talk about South China Sea.
Yes, sir.
South China Sea.
Yes, sir.
So give me everything that would concern you as the country in that area.
So South China Sea mainly there has been concerns of growing aggression by China. China proclaims the 9-dash line wherein it infringes on the territorial and the exclusive economic zones of various other countries. There are various disputes related to island-related disputes like Paracel Island, Spratly Island, Scarborough Shoal. And China has been undertaking, like with Philippines, we see that the Chinese naval vessels, they have been clashing with the Philippines Coast Guard. And also there was an international tribunal ruling by which it was awarded to Philippines, but China refused to comply with that. So there are concerns between the ASEAN states with regard to the Chinese actions which is there. For us, for India, the growing assertiveness by China is a concern because our trade mainly passes, we do a lot of trade with these East Asian nations, and if China stops the freedom of navigation and passage of various trade and merchant ships which is there, it can hamper our export potential which is there with these nations.
Okay. Can you name the countries around?
Yes, sir. Philippines is there. Indonesia is there. There is Taiwan. Upwards, if we see, there is South Korea, and Philippines, Indonesia. There is Brunei, which is there.
Harshit,
Yes, sir.
you have interest in football.
Yes, sir.
You played at college level.
So not at college level. I played some intra-college, various clubs participated.
Okay, okay. So, but you have some interest in. Do you still keep a watch on it?
Not in a very detailed way, but sometimes.
Let's say if I ask you, who is your favorite player? Can you answer that?
Yes, sir. I would say currently Liverpool, Mohamed Salah is there. I like his play.
Acha, Mohamed Salah. So you tell me one thing, Mohamed Salah has a huge fan following,
Yes, sir.
but he's not able to perform at the World Cup level.
Sir, that can be because of like football is a team sport, so his own and his own skills will not be able to propel him. Like he needs to get the ball passing by his various teammates, and the country which he plays for, Egypt, that doesn't have a very
All
able
right.
team.
So you tell me, you say you compare him with Messi or Ronaldo.
Yes, sir.
What is great about him in comparison to Ronaldo and Messi? What is something that attracts you more in Salah than in these two?
Sir, Messi and Ronaldo are like all-time great. Salah is like more of a generation player. Like if he is able to perform like this for an extended period of time, like Messi and Ronaldo did that for around 12-15 years. So if Salah is able to carry on this performance for this much time, then he'll be in the league of Messi and Ronaldo. I feel that currently Messi and Ronaldo are in the league of their own and all-time greats.
All right. Now, your choice is IFS number one,
Yes, sir.
which is rare. Most people choose IAS.
Yes, sir.
What attracts you to the IFS?
Sir, I feel that with India's growing stature, with being it will be the third largest economy sometime in the next 4 or 5 years, and its various influence is also increasing. So our diplomats will have a much more larger, playing ground in the international affairs. And also we see that in the last few years, the public profile of Indian diplomacy has increased with the various humanitarian efforts which has taken, and also there has been we have been able to showcase that diplomacy can be leveraged for domestic initiatives like domestic prosperity. So these are the things. And also I've been working in an MNC for the last 5 years, so I've seen like how relations between two countries can improved relations between two countries can help us. So these things I considered that foreign service would be.
All right. So since you have so much interest and you pointed all of these issues, tell me one reform you would like, or two reforms you would like in the IFS that you think is necessary.
So firstly would be like the size of a diplomatic corps. Currently our diplomatic corps size is equal to that of Singapore, and we
All right. So that is one.
Yes.
Anything else?
Sir, I feel that expertise and various interactions with track two think tanks which is there. Various expertise related to various issues like nuclear issues, like trade and national security. Much more greater collaboration with the think tanks can be undertaken so that our policies are much more in-depth and much more enhanced, I think.
Anything else? Something which will fundamentally change. These things are going on, interaction with think tanks. Observer Research Foundation is organizing the Raisina dialogue and
Yes.
IDSA.
Yes.
But anything else?
Sir, I feel that public diplomacy can be enhanced, like various diplomatic initiatives that can reach out to the last mile, like in various diversity of languages which is there. Like initiatives can be much more enhanced, like how various diplomatic, like if suppose in our case of Jharkhand, like if tribal products are there, how diplomacy can leverage to enhance the export potential of tribal products.
Okay, let me talk about one very upcoming field in diplomacy, economic diplomacy.
Yes, sir.
What do you understand by economic diplomacy?
Sir, economic diplomacy is mainly our interactions with various countries to for economic, like for geoeconomic, like it can be related to trade, it can be related to supply chains, it can be related to enhancing our export potential, it can be related to getting in more investments in our country. So various initiatives with various countries so that our economic potential is
So
increased.
tell me something about some success stories about Indian economic diplomacy that comes to your mind. Anything comes to your mind?
Yes, sir. So in the last few years, we have seen various free trade pacts being signed, like with UAE we signed and with Australia we signed. So these will enable us to enhance our export potential. Another would be like with our improved relations with USA, we are now able to the IT export, the software exports have considerably increased. So this can be like services currently account for 45% of a GDP.
Now,
And
suppose I were to give you a choice and say that choose between two propositions. Our relationship with United States is improving
yes, sir.
because of geostrategic reason.
Yes, sir.
And someone will say, no, it's basically economic at the core of that bilateral relationship. Which one would you choose?
Sir, it would be difficult to pick a binary. Like I would say that with increasing influence of Indian diaspora, which is there, geoeconomic is certainly there, the people-to-people linkages. But along with that, the strategic consideration, like with growing weight of China. So both are complementing each other. Like it would be difficult to pick one.
All right. Last question I ask you. You have mentioned you like running.
Yes, sir.
So some people do jogging.
Yes, sir.
How do you differentiate between running and jogging?
So running can be a sport, like it can be marathon running, it can be 100-meter run.
So suppose two people are, running or jogging.
Yes, sir.
How would I say that someone is running, someone is jogging? Almost at the same pace. Little bit different, almost. How do I differentiate who is jogging, who is running?
So in my opinion, jogging is more of a recreational exercise for our own physical benefits. Running is for specific goals, like 100-meter we want to run in this specific amount of time, and some so running has a specific parameters by which we can judge. Jogging is more of a recreational and for our own physical fitness, I feel.
All right, thank you.
Harshit, our Prime Minister said that we have lagged behind in fabrication of semiconductor chips by 30 years.
Yes, sir.
I shouldn't ask you why we have lagged behind, but let me see what should we do now.
Yes, sir. So semiconductor is semiconductor business, which is there. The supply chain is very restricted. Like few countries, Taiwan is there, Netherlands is there, and South Korea is there. So we should be getting into more partnerships with these nations, so that they're like Micron recently pledged to set up a business here. And we see that Tower company, which is there of Israel, is setting up. So more
Tower Semiconductor.
Tower Semiconductor. So more partnerships with these friendly countries should be set up. Another is like semiconductor is a very resource intensive and a very technology intensive. So provision of proper infrastructure like semiconductor requires very.
Let me identify the infrastructure. Which infrastructures you are talking, sir?
Round the clock electricity,
Power,
pure water, land.
Land anyway, land is the easiest to be available.
And sir, I would say that the supply chains with various ports, and so that transport connectivity.
Infra.
Yes, sir. And another would be like it's a very semiconductor takes a long gestation time, so some incentives have to be given.
Some incentives. Let's say subsidies.
Subsidies need to be given.
What extent of subsidy? It should be capital expenditure on PLI.
So currently, I feel PLI is the more beneficial one, since we are able to incentivize for more production. So
okay, let me ask you, what is PLI?
Sir, it's production linked intensive. So
production linked incentive. So
it's mainly like if a firm undertakes production above a certain limit, then the government will subsidize some part of some part of their expenditure.
At what level it is given? What percentage?
Sir, not able to recall.
Let us say semiconductor chips, how much they are promising?
Sir, I vaguely remember it was around 10, but I'm not.
5%. Yeah, anyway. And capital subsidy, any in semiconductors?
Yes, sir, there was some on design, and I'm not able to recall the exact.
Suppose a fabrication plant.
Yes, sir.
What is the normal, how expensive it will be?
Sir, it would be a few $1 billion, I think.
Few $1 billion.
Yes.
So few means 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 50.
Sir, 5 to 10, I would say.
No, it is 5 to 20 anyway.
Yeah.
And so some subsidy on that?
Yes, sir. Some if I recall correctly, there was like 50% subsidy on
Correct.
on Gujarat
Correct.
government.
But still, why we are not getting this decision that you are talking is December 21.
Yes, sir.
But this is December 23 has passed.
Yes, sir.
Other than Micron,
Yes, sir.
we have not got anywhere else. On the ground, there is nothing.
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe it's very technology intensive, so the incentives for firms to set up like the various bottlenecks like infrastructure, electricity, transportation, they can be because of that, like the firms are not seeing various growth potential. That's why they are taking more time to. But as our Minister of State said, there are many more in the pipeline, like 3-4 firms have shown an indication. There are in the pipeline, but I feel that.
Okay, which is the most developed country in semiconductor fabrication?
Taiwan.
Name of company?
TSMC.
And where is South Korea?
South Korea is
Number 2, number 3, or 4?
Sir, I think I think it's number.
What about US?
US is Taiwan, South Korea, Netherlands is there, which produces equipments for manufacturing chips, and then
It
US
doesn't produce equipments. It produces only one.
imaging equipment.
Then no, that is a machine for lithography.
Lithography, yes, sir.
That's all.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't produce other equipments.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but US I'm talking.
Sir, US it provides the technology, but the actual fabrication and the production that mainly takes place in Taiwan and South Korea.
Okay. I personally find you a very bright candidate,
Yes, sir.
and I think you should make it because to me, whatever I asked you, you were able to respond, and I think my other colleagues also might have had the same feeling. I'll request them also a bit of feedback on this,
Yes.
But in any case, one can't be too confident because it is competitive.
Yes, sir.
Two things will be the focus area. One is your DAF,
Yes, sir.
other will be current affairs.
Yes, sir.
What you have been reading, writing about in last say 6 months or so, you have to be thorough about it.
Yes, sir.
What happened? What was it like? Artificial intelligence, GPT has come up suddenly,
Yes, sir.
and a lot of developments are taking place. You have to know about it.
Yes, sir.
Then history that I asked you. Similarly, the colonized colonies which were colonized.
Yes, sir.
India was one of them. Africa, whole of Africa was. If you see African map,
Yes,
it
sir.
stuns you. It disappoints you.
The
They have
straight
cut
lines.
down Africa in a straight line.
Yes,
This
sir.
is my area. This is your area. This is my area. This is your
Yes, sir.
area. That was the colonies doing. This is the way they cut it down.
Yes, sir.
So that is one development that took place. So you have to understand that. And
Yes.
South China Sea anyway, you answered some question with South China versus Taiwan, America versus Russia, the war, Gaza war, what is the loss they might have had, then environment fund, the loss and damage fund, the role, the principle of polluter pays.
Yes, sir.
So likewise, there are a lot of things which are happening in this world in the last 6 months.
Yes, sir.
And you can be asked anything out of it.
Yes.
And because international affair is your subject also,
Yes, sir.
international affair means anything and everything on the international arena that can be asked.
Yes, sir.
Even small things like Mogadishu, there have been developments there, and you ought to know that.
Yes.
Then the Brazil, then what is that organization with India, Brazil, China, Russia, BRICS.
Yes.
The questions maybe are addition of new members in the BRICS. The problem NATO is facing because of the Trump statement and like,
Yes, sir.
you know, the internal coherency of NATO, and Russia is almost getting away with the Ukraine war.
Yes, sir.
And China, again, you know. So all these things can be raised, anything can be raised in current affairs.
Yes.
So one can keep on counting the subjects, it can be 50, it can be 16, but anyway, you know many of them, and you may know some more, making notes, I'm sure,
Yes,
and
sir.
revising them gradually.
Yes, sir.
And you have a good habit of, you know, focusing on the person who questions you or who asks you questions. Don't look at this way or that way.
Yes, sir.
That is a good habit,
Yes.
because it doesn't distract you, it doesn't distract the person concerned.
Yes.
You would like to add anything?
Yes, I think sir has added most of it. You know, since IFS is your first choice,
Yes, sir.
it will attract some attention.
Yes, sir.
All right. So be prepared with not only all the issues that sir told you.
Yes, sir.
Maybe also, you know, they want to see whether you are thinking deeply into, you know, reform.
Yes, sir.
You know, maybe what has not really worked out in IAS and all, you know, lateral entry. Maybe lateral entry is a very
Yes.
good reform that IFS can be. You know, people coming out from, say, JNU, students
Yes.
who may not pass the exam, but 6-7 years of some kind of, you know,
Yes.
professor you have abroad, you know,
Yes, sir.
US.
Yes, sir.
All the experts get into the State Department, something like that.
Yes.
That will give all the reason you gave, you know, our emphasis on global South, Africa,
Yes.
economic diplomacy. We need some experts,
Yes.
not direction from the top to make this policy from the PMO. Okay.
Yes.
So read upon that,
Yes.
and if you can give some imaginative answer,
Yes, I will.
that will
work on
really
that.
show you in very good light. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
You are a brilliant candidate, very hopeful of you,
Thank you.
and you got a good presence of mind. You can connect things well. That's the advantage that you have.
Yes. Thank you.
You could mind your legs. I think you could, yeah, a little more.
Yes, sir.
No.
So this is my first offline. I gave one hour before. So this should be this way or this way.
No, not so much close.
This way.
आपका कुछ नीज कुछ बाहर की तरफ जा रहा है, ऐसा कैसे है?
Sir, I will look at. some
हाँ, no,
videos how to-
With whatever you are comfortable with.
हाँ, whatever you're comfortable
Take
with.
that's
But to open too wide may not be
Yes.
very decent. Maybe in that case you can keep your hands close to your something like that.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
It should not be too wide,
Yes.
but be comfortable.
Yes, I will work.
So that you know your whole attention should not be here. You should be able to talk well.
Yes.
Natural posture, but little close.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah,
Comfortable होना
I'll
चाहिए.
work on that.
Okay. Thank you.